I welcome all the students on behalf of MICA. So MICA, the School of Ideas. So first is the tagline. MICA is a pretty famous, since 1991, we are a school and we were the first to get into media and entertainment. And this institute was started with the purpose of contributing to the media industry because that was a big white spot or a gap in the industry at that point in time. I don't know. I mean, these students wouldn't be aware of, Mudra and the soaps like Bunyad and Hamlog and all of that, which come from the house of Mudra. Well, having said that, we have moved a long way, and today MICA is a school whose curriculum also brings in a lot of, what would I say, a huge amount of differentiation, and we always stay ahead of the times. Today, when people are talking about digital and digital transformation and digital marketing, last 3 to 4 years back, I think people started taking all this so very seriously. MICA has been into digital and digital marketing and digital transformation and social media, etc., maybe for more than about 7 to 8 years. When people started talking about large language models and people started talking about chat GPT, people started talking about metaverse. I think we are the first campus in the country to have or boast of a metaverse lab. In addition to that, when the industry was building up, and today we are talking about generative AI, we are the first institute, for that matter, who started off building future faculty onto generative AI teaching, etc., by conducting faculty development programs on using generative AI. The mission is also pretty different. We don't talk about the standard finance, ops, HR, marketing, but rather we have specializations like advertising and brand management, which students call as ABM. We have digital communication management, which talks about digital transformation, platforms, and all of that. We have data science and business analytics. We are one of the first institutes to have done, specialization in data science and business analytics, where the courses in generative AI, etc., come in. And then we have media entertainment and management, of course, which has been our forte. And the difference is that today the media industry has evolved a lot. It is no more the print media, it's a digital media. And today we talk about sports media specialization. We talk about gaming. We talk about gaming in media. So, that is how, MICA is different. I mean, I will go on and on and on, but I think this sets the context to define why MICA is different. Yeah. We are a creative school and we look at building managers who are empathetic. We look at building managers who are creative. We look at building managers who are prepared for lifetime employment, and we look at building managers who are working in the cutting edge and disruptive areas. So that has been our constant endeavor, to bring in that, and we create managers with societal impact through our CDMC, through our courses on corporate governance, and through our community radio, MICA Vani. The community radio, which is run by the students again, which is again a media extension, does a lot of social upliftment, inclusivity, and involvement of the neighboring villages who do listen to these radio programs on social awareness, on parenting, on hygiene, health, and so on and so forth. And that is all run totally by our students. And in fact, let me also tell you, MICA's the other part of MICA, the creative part of MICA, we also have two pet animals who were taken from from a company's lab animal. They have animals on whom they test. So two of the animals were rescued from there, and they are a part of the MICA family. So that talks about the other side of MICANs. Yeah. Majority of the CXO suite or the CEOs come from sales and marketing function because they are responsible for the revenue and the top line and the bottom line. Strategic marketing is again, while The standard business schools have say maybe a 1.5 credit or a 2 credit course on strategic marketing. Our entire specialization is on strategic marketing. And today, it's all about marketing gimmicks and your go-to-market strategy, your time to market, meaning how fast you are there in the market, your last mile delivery, your digital, you can do with wafer thin budgets, you can do promotion. A startup can, startups like Airbnb, startup like Zomato, startup like Swiggy, they come from nowhere, hosting on the cloud, and that's about it. So firms have become, unicorns, and from unicorns to established companies. Marketing with a strategy and a design is what we tend to teach through our different specializations to our students. You need to be a graduate and to write the exam. And we have, the website also talks about it. So we have the admission to both the PGDM-C and the PGDM requires a bachelor's degree, that is 10 plus 2 plus 3, or an equivalent qualification in any discipline recognized by AIU, that is Association of Indian Universities. But standard is 10 plus 2 plus 3 system that we have in India. Candidates appearing for final examinations for a bachelor's degree are also qualify, like typically for the the CAT and so on. Then our entrance exam has two parts. One is the CAT and the other is the MICAT, which is organized by MICA. And the MICAT we organize twice. The first MICAT is, I think, over, and the second MICAT is going to be announced. So that is how, and then that is followed up by a group exercise and a personal interview. We do not do a group discussion. Again, MICA is different. So group exercise, where a group of candidates are taken into groups and they are given some task, activity, jingle, or whatever it is, and they are expected to perform. Design, enact in front of the panel, followed up with a personal interview. MICA is a school of ideas, as I said again, and we need empathetic leaders. We need leaders with a difference, inclusivity, consciousness about the environment, consciousness about animals, SDG goals, and so on. So while the CAT tests, CAT or the ZAT or the GMAT tests their typical, quantitative and data interpretation and those kind of skills, the MICAT is slightly different. The MICAT is designed, internally, that also links to the creative aspect of the students, because we believe that the creative aspect is very important when we get students for a PGDM or a PGDM-C program. So that's the reason why we have a weightage and a separate MICAT exam for our students. I don't think there is any preference for any form of an exam. It carries 20% weightage, that's about it. We keep changing the format of the MICAT exam a little bit. The questions are testing the creative side of the student. The questions have also a combination of, quantitative and so on, quantitative, qualitative, etc. And there's a lot of literature also available on the website. Students can look at that, and it's important the sample papers are there. So it's important also to be cognizant that things can keep changing, right? So let them be prepared for that, because it's a test of creativity as well. We take a combination of left brain and right brain. So the MICAT exam evaluates the aspects of left brain and right brain. The MICAT exam has about a 30% weightage, right? And then the remaining 50% comes from the GE and the PI. So this is how the distribution is: 20% on the CAT, ZAT, GMAT, 30% on MICAT, so that makes it 50. Remaining 50 comes from the GE and the PI, group exercise and the personal interview. And that is after you get a call. So you may get eliminated after the CAT and the MICAT. The admission process is pretty streamlined. MICA is a pretty old institute and it's pretty streamlined. We have our own partners, and we follow a well-structured or a process, that we have, and a very well organized and laid out process. And it is completely managed by MICA internally. When we call ourselves a creative school and a marketing school, communication is a big aspect of marketing, right? We have a separate, other business schools, standard business schools also have communication faculty, but they don't have a robust, well laid out functional area called communication. In MICA, the communication department or the area is even bigger sometimes to the even smaller areas, say digital and so on. We have a pool of about 6 to 7 faculty members who specialize in different aspects of communication, ranging from semiotics, ranging from strategic communication, ranging from business communication, leadership communication, so on and so forth. Another interesting aspect, communication doesn't end only with courses. Communication has got a lot to do with the pedagogy. So you come to MICA and look at the teaching pedagogy, I'm sure anybody and everybody is going to be impressed. The pedagogy ranges from the standard ways that people do of role plays, etc., to theatrics, to dramaturgical aspect of pedagogy, to language labs and so on and so forth. And it is applied communication, and it is not just communication of report writing, etc., and so on, which you have a typical course in first year of standard business schools. We assume that our students come with that expertise. So we go into the psychology of communication, which is more important in understanding consumer behavior, marketing strategy design, and so on and so forth. We talk about colors. We don't talk about colors, etc., in standard business schools. But here we talk about colors, we talk about emotions, sentiments, communication to that, sentimental analysis on communication, so on and so forth. It varies from year to year, number of applicants and performance and the toughness of the question paper, toughness of different sections and so on. So that cannot be anything standard. That is also not open to and known to even us, that the committee decides. And so the fact of the admissions committee takes a call on that based on that particular year's performance. I think I partly answered your question when I talked about semiotics. I partly answered your question when I talked about consumer buying sentiments and consumer behavior and color. When you communicate in design communications for different product categories and services, these are the aspects that come in. Earlier, when I talked about SDG, I think I talked about sustainability, I talked about inclusivity, I talked about animal protection, etc. So in MICA campus. It's worthwhile for anybody. Many of the students are here. If they can get a chance, come and see the campus. There's a lot of harmony inside the campus, full of birds, full of the monkeys in harmony. I mean, you can see our mess folks carrying food on the plates, but monkeys don't disturb and snatch at all. But I don't think that's possible. Step out of the campus, you will see monkeys jumping and snatching and so on and so forth. That doesn't happen at the MICA campus because we allow inclusivity. That is the practice that students also follow, and students themselves take care of these, dogs, etc. So that is the practice part of it. On the courses, there are courses on, on SDG, corporate sustainability. There are courses on semiotics, etc. Consumer insight mining. So there are multiple areas. There is the rural immersion project, which also takes care of students' ability to connect with the rural areas, go and stay with the people and solve various problems of theirs. There is MICA Community Radio. There is My Impact projects, and there is also. Yeah, I mean, Sales CRM Center is there. So there are many things that bring in all of this, and we try to give a holistic perspective to, the students. Please be mindful that, every functional area that we have has an advisory board. This advisory board, again, is formed and updated, periodically. And the advisory board has typically representatives from the alum, industry alum, that is, The Starbucks CEO is a MICA alum. So I can alum who are a part of the advisory board of each area, whether it is communication, whether it is strategic marketing, whether it is ABM, and so on. So the advisory board is constantly involved in the evaluation of the curriculum and providing insights and industry inputs into the curriculum. Two, we have constantly we look at people from experts from the industry who participate in teaching and course sharing. So while I teach, say, assume I teach a course, 1.5 credit course on pricing, I would be inviting an industry professional to come and take 4 to 5 sessions, who brings in this aspect of pricing onto the curriculum. So there is a huge amount of involvement of people at a CXO suite level also to come and teach at MICA at different specializations. We have labs, we have centers. So we have a research center, CREM center. We have a CLIP, which is a pedagogy innovation center. We have a sales CRM center. We have a metaverse lab. And these labs they were not there 10 years back. And over a period of time, we keep on bringing in these. The CLIP Center, that is the Innovative Pedagogy Center, opened just 3 years back. If you look at our conference that is happening this year, that's on immersive technologies and AI and all of that. That's how we are constantly in it. Our alums represent our governing council. So alums are responsible into that. Our alums form the panel at the selection process. So every student who is a prospective candidate to MICA and reaches the GPI stage will definitely see an alum in the process. In addition to data science roles, in addition to, of course, the forte of MICA is brand management, product management, and so on. So these are the areas where typically the jobs are in a MICA campus. Therefore, the students accordingly choose the electives based on also their background and their strengths and what they like in the initial term 1, term 2. A student may come to MICA with an affinity for strategic marketing or ABM, brand management, and not analytics. But after the term 1, he or she says that, I like these tools. I'm strong in maths, or I thought I was not strong in maths, but I'm liking these courses. And I think there's a lot of money in data science and analytics or marketing analytics. So I would like to take up this. I may want to join IBM Consulting. I may want to join Accenture Consulting and be a data science or Nielsen IQ. So then students form their own, and of course, that is where full-time residential campuses are important. Because when you stay full-time residential along with students, seniors, juniors, industry executives are coming for MDP programs, online programs are there where industry executives are there. They get a chance to interact with all these people. There are so many, industry corporate lectures, sessions, etc. So these also give insights to the students, finding out trending areas. So where are the jobs? What is my interest profile? What is my background? If I'm a psychology background, I may as well take strategic marketing or ABM, because I will have some amount of, what would I say? Coherence, or I would have some amount of synergies with my basic course. So this is what typically, leads to students choosing their specialization areas. Internships happen during the summer months after the completion of the term 3 of the students, which generally gets completed around March. So March to April period, right? So the internships start around April and they close by June, first week, second week. The students join by June, last week around, and classes start around June last week or maximum first week of July. The internships you can consider typically are of 2 months, you can say, on an average. The internship selection process starts by, say, November, December, it starts the selection process. Companies have different criteria for the selection of internships. All the internships are paid internships, that is given naturally. And students work in variety of companies, from e-commerce to startups, to tech startups, to media companies, and so on and so forth. And in fact, this year, when people are saying that the industry is down and placements are kind of jacked up, we had the highest number of PPOs this particular year. Yeah. we closed, I would give you a percentage, about 10 to 15%, 15% to 20% of the students got PPOs. And then there were remaining, there were quite a few who won competitions and got job offers. Students manage the placement process. As I said, we intend to bring in holistic education, and we train managers here. It's a workshop. So this is 2 years is a complete workshop. So the student is ground and ground and ground, so that the student is ready to face the corporate world. And I think Nisha is just, she's put up her video on. So Nisha, who's already been placed. So Nisha, you may want to answer this question.
Yeah, so I agree with what Sir said. Not only placements, everything in MICA is usually run by students. And specifically, the placements are run by the placement committees, but it also happens in a very transparent manner, right? So say the senior batches get placed by the junior placement committee comprised of PGP1, and the juniors get placed by the senior committee comprised of PGP2. So and it's a through and through process of very transparent, and it's more like your interest based. So you also the entire batch gets to given their interests, what kind of roles they want, what kind of industries they want to explore, and that's how the funnel is decided for the entire season. Yeah, and we've been growing great on the placement so far. We are currently in our final placement process. And yeah, we'll soon launch the placement reports. But if anybody wants to check the statistics, it's available on our website.
We have some questions from students. The first question that is coming to me is what is the minimum CAT percentile required to get a call from MICA?
Honestly, like even Sir said before, there is no minimum. There are no stats on that because it totally depends on how the batch is, right? For example, this year CAT was very difficult, I've heard, and it's very relative, and it depends on the pool of people who are applying as well. Also, why there are no said cutoffs in MICA is that the selection process tries to evaluate the person as an individual completely, like the entire profile. So the entire evaluation criteria is divided among your CAT, XAT, GMAT, one of those three. Then you also have MICAT criteria. There's a percentage to MICAT. And then there's also GE and PI. So it's an overall thing, and there's separate weightage given to each. So if you have not done very well in CAT, then you can compensate it by doing exceptionally well in MICAT as well. So we have a very diverse range of CAT scores, and that's why there's no cutoff as such. It's your overall candidature that matters.
Is there any fee for MICAT exam? What is the basic fee?
The basic fee is around 2,100, and it's available on the website. You can just go apply from there.
So another question is from Dhara, and she is pursuing BBA from Gujarat. She's asking if she wants to know about which top finance course she should opt for, which would be helpful for her master's in finance specializations, basically.
So MICA specializes in marketing and communication, and if she's looking specifically for finance, then this is probably not the place to be. But if somebody is looking for if they're interested in finance and they also want to pursue marketing in depth, then we also have a lot of courses here, because first year is usually a foundational year where we undergo through courses from all areas of business. So finance is also a very important aspect of it, and I'm sure Coursera and all would offer a lot of these foundational courses, but it's not really relevant or important for your candidature.
So you were part of the admission process. So what should one expect when you go for the group activity and the personal interview?
Especially for the group exercise, nobody can ever expect what's coming their way. And I don't say it in an intimidating way, but it's, I think, the most fun experience I've ever had for any, supposed to be stressful situation, and a very life deciding moment. But it was the most fun experience because it's it's that moment, right? It's the what is the topic given to you for that 20-25 minutes, how you go about it, and it's very it can be anything under the sun, and you just have to be yourself and do something really creative for that moment. For example, my GE topic was how do you explain politics to a bunch of kindergarten students? That's it. And we had to figure out what you wanted to, and that is something that I would never even think. Like, even if I had a cousin or a niece or a nephew, I wouldn't even think that I'll need to explain politics to them, right? So that's completely unexpected. And yeah, things are just thrown at you, and it's how you figure yourself out at that moment. Even for the PI, in fact, I knew like PI was going to be very conversational. I've heard from a lot of people who had given PI before, and I know that MICA panels in general are like very cool and they talk to you about a lot of stuff. But PI was legit like I was talking to one of my faculty at Chota, or it was like very interactive, and they ask you like random things, they ask you very creative things, but I'm sure they have their own way of evaluating how you respond to it, and their metrics are in place, but how you answer to it is completely in your hand.
What kind of difficulty level they can expect in the MICAT? Like how tough is the MICAT exam, or what is that?
The pattern and the difficulty level keeps changing every year, but like what I can say is the years that I have given, the last 2-3 years, I'd say the way MyCat tests you is a entire MyCat is extremely difficult, but so we have like around 8 options for an answer versus a 4 or a 5 in other exams, right? So how they're trying to test you is a little different. And even if it is difficult, I assure you that it's nothing to be worried about, because the cutoffs in that case will be adjusted accordingly. And you don't have to like score a really high score in MyCat. It all depends, and it's also a very cumulative exam, right? So it's not a very difficult paper if you are well prepared with your concepts for CAT, SAT, the usual preparation that you do. And anyway, general awareness, which is an added, comes into play when you are writing SAT. And just one added thing is that you will have to go through a step of, preparation for descriptive writing. And psychometric is something that you usually don't prepare, but you need to be quicker on time. So it's not really difficult if you ask me. It's just how well paced you are in that moment.
What kind of experience do you need to apply for MICAT, and what kind of exposure they can expect in MICA?
Okay, that's an interesting question.
Yes.
So, experience-wise, there's no weightage, or there's nothing. Like, we have our batch has a very good amount of freshers as well, and literally like people who are as old as say 30, 31 study with somebody who is 20, 21 who's just passed out. So how much experience you have is not a factor to decide your candidature. And what exposure you get in MICA is basically, see, what MICA offers you from their side is really good pedagogy, like sir was talking, really good, exposure in terms of industry. So either we get visiting faculty from like the top firms, people who are like CMOs, ex-CMOs, and all the like CXO position people whom you can interact with on a very casual way. So just I think this term we had a visiting faculty who's Joy Bhattacharya, who manages KKR, the Kolkata Knight Riders, and these are the people who you will never be able to get time of theirs outside MICA. Like, it's very difficult to get an appointment with them as well, even for like 10 minutes. But they'll come to your college and you can like catch up with them for like hours together. And that is the exposure that MICA gives from their side. Other than that, it depends on you what you try to want to make out of this experience. So we've had people who like ended up starting their own startups while they were studying, because there's probably an idea that came up, or they saw like a really good mentor in one of our faculties and they wanted to start and like do an incubator of sorts. Or we've had people who've tried to go for like national level competitions in sports or anything. So it's like the exposure that you get is very vast. what MICA offers you is vast in general, and what you want to make out of it is again in your hands.
Okay, so we have one last question with me. What is the difference, and what kind of, is there much difference between MICAT 1 and MICAT 2? Like, which one is easier, or is it the same difficulty level, or something like that?
The difficulty level is pretty much the same. I say this because I had given both the MICATs. It's just that I felt I was a little more prepared for MICAT 2 because I had already given a MICAT 1. But having said that, it's not like if you've not given MICAT 1, you will not really be good at MICAT 2 as well. Because, like MICAT 1 was more like, because it just happens after CAT, you are more prepared in terms of aptitude. But for MICAT 2, you'll have more time to prepare your descriptive, creative writing, and also your general awareness. So that way, I think both of them are comparable only. It's not really a huge difference.
What would your favorite thing or be about MICA? I mean, if you look at it, it can be in terms of campus, it can be in terms of anything. But what would you, when you go out of MICA, what would you carry as the best experience or the most unique thing?
Very, very difficult to choose one thing. But for me, I think overall, what makes MICA very special or a heartwarming experience for me is the culture, the people, basically. I say this in like every talk I give, and I genuinely believe it, that most B schools, they are very competitive as a batch, because obviously everyone's gunning for the best placement, for the best CGPA, and they want to be like at some senior level a couple of years down the line. But at MICA, I think that's more or less the only place where I felt like, no, people are actually collaborative. Like, and it's like everybody's very helpful, and it has a lot to do with how things are designed at MICA, how the classes are designed, how the entire selection process also goes. It's just like the entire batch is so diverse, but how you get, integrated into like one unit at the end of those 2 years is something very unimaginable to me. Like, I would never expect that I'll be so close to like 200 other people. And it doesn't happen only in one batch. It happens across batches. It happens like across like alumni and alumni of network. So that's something very special to me.
In the MICAT exam, there are more than 4 options. So, this student asked, which institute did you prepare for MICAT, and what you will like suggest, because like not many mocks have more than 4 options. Like those mock tests which are available has 4 options only, and for this kind of exam you need a special mock test. So from where you prepared and what you suggest to MICAT aspirants?
Honestly, for MICAT, I did not go through any like not only specifically for MICAT, but in general, my CAT preparation also, I did not have any institute. More because I was working and did not have the time to take it. It's just that I try to focus a lot more on descriptive writing, because I had lost touch with writing. Once I get into the preparation mode of CAT and there's so much aptitude going on, you completely lose track of actually putting thoughts on a paper. So the last, I think, 15-20 days, my entire preparation was dedicated to this. Of course, alongside, I was trying to do specifically, I did not do any mock tests for MICAT, because on this side I was also preparing for the other exams. So even after CAT, I was trying to like give more sectional tests or things like that, so that it will help me in MICAT, because it's honestly, even I didn't know how difficult it would be, or how much more preparation I would need for MICAT. So I was just brushing up on whatever I knew and trying to like improve on my accuracy and time.
The end product from a business school is a manager. Manager who should be lifetime employable. Of course, one has to upskill the competencies over a period of time, depending on the changing business context. That is what we would like. That is our journey at MICA. That is what we wish to create at the end of 1.5 to 2 years that a student spends at the campus. So the kind of competencies that a hiring manager would like to look at from a student like Nisha passed out, she's going to pass out this year. The hiring manager would look at an individual who's able to solve problems rather than ask questions and okay, this I don't have, that I don't have. No excuses, results. Any company who is hiring a manager today wants results and solutions, not problems for a problem. So that is the first thing that we look at, when we are trying to mold an input or an individual who's coming into the institute. So therefore, flexibility in mind, flexibility, is one of the key attributes. One. Two that we look at is attitude. See, when you work or you start working, you need certain fundamentals which a business school gives you. Business school cannot give you all the skills and competencies. Today, maybe we teach them, statistical packages on stata, or structural equation modeling, or qualitative analysis, using another software tool. But tomorrow that could become redundant. Chat GPT, generative AI, the prompt engineering which we are talking about. So new things are going to come and emerge. So the second thing that we want or we would like the student to have, or what we constantly endeavor to get into our students, is attitude. So attitude making is important, and that is what, through several courses, through pedagogy, we try to inculcate that into the students. So attitude, your attitude is most important. You're always hired for your attitude, flexibility, attitude, attention to detail. You're a business guy, so one mistake can lead you to falling down in market share or losing to competition and so on. So attention to detail. And fourth and most important today's context, which you also touched upon, is empathy, inclusivity, sustainability, not as much required when we were doing our MBA classes. So I don't think I passed out, I was told by my faculty that you need to bring in that aspect of the complexity is very high in the ecosystem today. So to manage the complexity, these are the four traits that we believe that our students should come out with when they pass from the campus.